Hello Year 1 and welcome back to our English. Now today and tomorrow we're going to think about writing our story of Little Red Riding Hood. You can write that as just a story or we can do some pictures, it's entirely up to you. But today's job is to plan the story. And as you know, we do our stories in 5 parts. So let's have a look at the sentence starters that we usually use. We usually have once upon a time, one day, unfortunately, fortunately and finally. And usually with our sentence starters, the first one tells us who the story is about. Once upon a time there was a boy called Jim. The second one usually tells us where the story is happening. One day they went for a walk on the moon. Unfortunately usually tells us the problem in the story. Fortunately usually tells us that there's a solution to that problem. And finally, it's just a summing up right at the end about the end of the story so that we go away feeling like we've had the whole story. So let's have a little think about our Little Red Riding Hood story. I've had a think about adding the endings to those sentence starters. So once upon a time there was a girl called Little Red Riding Hood. One day she went for a walk in the forest. Unfortunately, she met a wolf. Fortunately, the woodcutter scared him away. Finally, they all lived happily ever after. Now, if we were in this classroom today, we would be trying to do some actions to show all of these words so that we can remember the story. If you want, you can pause the video here and you can try and have a go at that. Come up with a different action for each of the key words in the sentence. You've already got one for once upon a time and one day, unfortunately, fortunately and finally. But those are the bits just to help you remember what comes in each box. Press play when you're ready to carry on. So now you've learnt the story a little bit better. Now we're going to think about what goes in each box on your story plan, your story mountain. Okay? So we'll go through it a box at a time. You can have a think of what you might put in there and then I'm going to put my pictures in. Now we all know that it doesn't matter how good your pictures are so long as you can tell the story. But you need to be able to tell what my pictures are and my drawings are not the best, especially if I'm trying to do it on a computer. So I have just copied and pasted some pictures from the internet to go into my boxes, but I know you can do a much better job of drawing yours. So for the first box, once upon a time, what's going to go in that box? Pause the video here to have a think and then click back onto the video to see what the answer is. Yeah, once upon a time there was a little girl called Little Red Riding Hood. So we draw a little picture of Little Red Riding Hood. Next one, one day. What goes in the box for one day? Pause the video here and then press play for the answer. Yeah, we need Little Red Riding Hood walking through the forest. One day she went for a walk in the forest. Okay, next box, unfortunately. What's the problem in our story? Pause the video here and have a think about it and then press play when you're ready for the answer. Yeah, we need the wolf because the wolf is the problem in our story. Unfortunately, she met a wolf. Next box, fortunately. How do we solve the problem of the wolf? There we go. There's the woodcutter. The woodcutter solves the problem of the wolf. Fortunately, the woodcutter scared the wolf away. And then the final box, what goes in the final box? Finally, pause the video here so you can have a think and then press play for the answer. There we go, they're all living happily ever after and it looks like they're eating cake and drinking tea, which seems like a very good happily ever after to me. So finally, they all lived happily ever after. Your job today then is to make your own story mountain. You can use just the same pictures that I've done in each of the different boxes and then see if you can tell someone in your house your story. Once upon a time there was a little girl called Little Red Riding Hood. One day she went for a walk through the forest. Unfortunately she met a wolf. Fortunately the woodcutter scared the wolf away. Finally they lived happily ever after. Remember to take some photographs and send them through to me or share them on Facebook and then we will see you back here tomorrow to be able to write your story. Bye!